Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Aretha. Today I want to quickly talk about the biggest time wasters that I keep dealing with. I've been on a bit of a productivity kick lately, and I have been rediscovering things about myself that I thought I already knew. This has to be the most annoying part of self-development. Relearning lessons that you thought you had already mastered. But it goes to show that personal development is not a destination, it's an entire journey. You will have to learn and relearn the same lessons over and over again until you truly master them. So let's talk about these time wasters. The first thing I deal with time and time again is the mental drama that I create around the tasks I don't want to do. So this usually will manifest as procrastination or overthinking. When there's something I know I have to do but don't feel like doing, I have a tendency to build it up in my head as something impossible, something very complicated that will require hours and hours of my time. But usually when I get over the drama, sit down and work on the thing, it takes less than an hour. Now this is a lesson that I keep thinking that I've learned, but I keep running into it time and time again. So clearly I don't have all the answers, but I have reminders. So if there's something you know that you need to do, try to avoid spending so much time agonizing over it. Limit the suck to the time that you're actually doing it. So if you have a meeting with someone difficult tomorrow, don't waste your time playing it in your head unless you're using it to rehearse and prepare for tomorrow. Beyond a certain point of preparation, thinking about it, worrying about it in advance doesn't change the fact that the meeting will still happen tomorrow. So get out of your head and save yourself some drama by redirecting your energy on something else. Something you can actually have an impact on today. It's easier said than done, but creating this mental drama is one way that we really waste our time and our energy. The second thing I run into time and time again is that I have too many priorities. I know better, but this tends to sneak up on me. I think it's important to remember that originally the word priority was meant to be singular, the one thing that matters most. As a society, we have gotten into a habit of using the plural of priority, thinking that we can have 3, 4, 5, 10 priorities. But that essentially defeats the purpose of prioritization. If you're doing 10 things at the same time, you're doing too many things. They cannot all be equally important at the same time. So to get out of this trap, ask yourself often what the most important thing is. What is the most important thing I need to work on today? What is the one thing I can focus on that'll make everything else better or unnecessary? As much as possible, try to limit the number of things that you claim as priorities. If you don't take the time to clarify what's truly important, then you'll waste your time doing a lot of things that seem important, but really are not making that much of a difference. That is a tremendous time waster. The next thing that really sets me behind is a lack of clarity. This usually shows up as a sense of overwhelm or a general sense of confusion, being unclear about what my very next steps are. Here, it's important to distinguish between a project and an activity. A project usually has multiple steps under it. So your to-do item cannot be write a book. Because when you put something this big on your to-do list, it leads to confusion. Where do you start? Writing a book is not one actionable step. It's a whole project. So when you run into items like that, you have to break them down into actionable steps. If I need to write a book, what is the immediate next step I need to take? Maybe it is to brainstorm on a topic for the book. Or if you have a topic already, maybe it's creating a broad outline. So if you're feeling confused or overwhelmed about something you really want to do, you need to sit down and break it down into actionable steps. Another aspect of this problem is not being clear on what it is you are trying to accomplish. Not knowing what the end result could potentially look like. So if you say you want to be more active, you have to spend a little bit of time defining what being active means to you. Does walking count? Does it mean going to the gym? Does it mean running in the morning? Whatever it is, you have to define it a little bit beyond this broad idea of being active because it means different things to different people. And if you haven't clarified which parameters fit within your definition, it'll be really hard for you to stick to it because you cannot visualize it. The next biggest time waster is actually the opposite of the previous one. It's over planning. I think when we start a long-term project, it's easy to get stuck in the planning phase because in the planning phase, everything is perfect. I will do this for the first 3 weeks, and then I will do this, and then I will do this, and then I will do this. You can map out the entire plan the way a perfect version of you would do it. So it can be tempting to try to plan out every single step from the beginning to the end of this project. But that is a trap. When you first start something, you typically don't have enough information to plan out the entire thing. You make some assumptions, you guess what the steps will look like, what the progression will look like, and you assume that you will behave at 100% of your capacity all the time. A better way is to plan the first leg of the project. So if you have a large project and you've identified milestones or like mini goals within the larger goal, you don't need to plan past the first milestone, at least not in detail. Because chances are by the time you start the project and reach the first milestone, you will discover things that you had not considered before, and some of your assumptions will be challenged. So it's important to not be married to a rigid plan of how you think things will play out. You can have a general idea of what you would like to accomplish over time, but you have to give yourself flexibility to adjust every time you reach a milestone. That's why reflection is such an important piece of personal growth. If you knew everything there was to know about a particular goal, you would have already reached it. When you actually start working on the goal or project, you will learn things along the way. So trying to plan every single detail from the beginning to the end of the project, or planning out every single step that'll take you from now to your goal, is actually a waste of time. It's a very sneaky form of procrastination. You can plan forever and never take action. And the last biggest time waster is worrying about other people, specifically what other people think about you. Most people should have their own goals and projects to work on. They should be working on their own priorities and worrying about themselves. And they probably are. You should only worry about things outside of you if it helps you be more prepared or helps you make better decisions today. Otherwise, it's an exercise in futility and it's a waste of time. Frankly, unless they are your boss or hold the key to your future, it doesn't really matter. And this is advice that we've all probably heard at least once and that we all have internalized intellectually. And yet I find myself falling into that trap, worrying about what other people may think about me. And usually it prevents me from working on the things I should be working on. And there you have it. These are 5 of the biggest time wasters that I keep dealing with over and over again. I hope this video will help you reassess some of the things you are dealing with and help you get back to your productive self. If you recognize yourself in any of the things I've described, I would love it if you would leave a comment. And as always, remember to like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel.